tucked away in a narrow corner of West London, in the shadow of the A40, is a remarkable project. It busts a myth that Britain can't pull off epic engineering. This is one of the most ambitious, most complex, most expensive infrastructure projects you'll find pretty well anywhere. This is just one site of Crossrail, the new east-west railway right across London. Now, to get the measure of it, I've got an appointment with Phyllis, and I'm told she's not to be messed with. Phyllis is one of Crossrail's 8 vast tunnel boring machines which are about to worm their way under London. She's from Germany, she carries quite a lot of weight, and she costs £10 million. But for that, you get a lot of tunnelling. It's only when you see her teeth that you realise just what she's capable of. We've arrived at a bit of a moment, actually, because they've got this tunnel boring machine, weighs 1,000 tonnes, 150 metres long, just a few centimetres of clearance above it, and they've got to slowly inch it down towards the point at which it's actually going to dig. If you thought washing up liquid was just for the kitchen, think again. Phyllis and her colleague Ada are heading beneath Paddington Station, under Hyde Park, below the tightly packed streets of London's West End, and out to Farringdon to the east. It's the big tunnelling drive for what will be the new fast line across London when it opens in 2018.
You can talk about Crossrail being the biggest construction programme in Europe. It's £14.8 billion. We're digging 50 kilometres of tunnels under London, and if you get on a train at Maidenhead and get off at Shenfields, then that's about 120 kilometres long. So this is as big as they get.
And as I enter the tunnel to see Phyllis in operation, I'm left in no doubt what an extraordinary machine she is. Boy, you can really feel the temperature has warmed up, even though we're only about 50 metres in. Thank you very much indeed. Steve Parker is the construction manager for this stretch of Crossrail's tunnels. Boy, this is just, it's so enormous. I had no idea the one machine could be so big. It's incredible. And there, right in front of me, is the back of the cutter head itself. I mean, think about what it's doing. It's carving out soil that probably hasn't seen the light of day since the Earth was created. The cutter head scythes its way through the clay. Behind it, tunnel engineers build a ring made up of 8 concrete segments slotted into place to within a millimetre's precision. When that's done, the machine braces itself against the ring it's just built and pushes forward to start the process again. It's amazingly fast, isn't it? How fast you're moving. What, 100 metres? 100 metres a week?
I'd like to think that we could double that, because we're looking at the long average. The long average would be 100 metres a week. So to get the high output, we need certain months, weeks, with a higher output than that.
But what's amazing is we're seeing that here. When it's all up and running, there'll be another one next door being done at the same speed. And then there are going to be other ones dotted around building other pieces of Crossrail simultaneously.
Yes, there's another on Crossrail. There is 8 machines in total.
But this isn't just engineering for engineering's sake. Phyllis is on a much bigger mission.
There's news today about the new Victoria Walthamstow Underground. Tunnelling has begun at a number of places. The line will take 5 years to complete.
When people tunnelled under London in the past, they did it for a reason, to enable the city to keep growing.
London must have people moving about in it freely. A movement which is as vital to its life as the circulation of the blood is vital to the human body.
Today, the city's growing faster than ever. The population is expected to rise by nearly 2 million in the next 20 years. That is the real driving force behind Crossrail. So while London works and sleeps and parties, the new stations are taking shape. And Phyllis and Ada are on a mission to ensure the capital can continue to grow. I confess I love these big engineering projects. I've even stolen a ball of clay as a souvenir. I'll make a little ashtray out of it. We used to be world leaders at this, and we can clearly still do it when we put our minds to it. And here's my thought. Should we be doing a lot more of this kind of work? Now, I know I'm biased because I like it, but isn't there a case for investing 2 or 3 times as much in infrastructure? Simply to get Britain ready for the future. You see, infrastructure's all around us. It's the roads we drive on, the lines we commute on, and the energy that powers us. It's what makes Britain tick. And it's the flavour of the month right now. All our main political parties say we need more of it. But why? Well, our problem right now is that our infrastructure hasn't kept up with the changes that have been occurring around us. In fact, some of it is wearing out. Oh, my goodness. What a view. Little diddy train going over the Forth Rail Bridge. Here on the Firth of Forth, just north of Edinburgh, it's not the iconic Victorian rail bridge that's the problem, but the 20th century road bridge. And its story is a neat little tale about how our infrastructure was once world class, but hasn't kept pace with a changing world. Back in the post-war years, there was no road bridge here.
Instead, there was a ferry, a slow and cumbersome substitute in an age of speed.
When will you be near me, darling, won't you make it soon?
But that was a problem for the Scottish economy. The crossing was a vital link between Edinburgh and the north of Scotland, and plenty of time was wasted waiting for the boat to come in. Though some found a way to while away the hours.
The queues of cars, longer each year, were a visible argument of the need for a new bridge, a road bridge.
Have you heard about that swinging road, the suspension bridge across the river Forth?
So, in the late 50s, construction started on a new road bridge. In a rather different era for health and safety. At the time, it was the biggest outside America, a symbol of Britain's skill at civil engineering. But here's the problem. The bridge was built with capacity for 12 million vehicles a year. It seemed like a wild overestimate back in the 1950s, but it hit that number 25 years ago. Today, the bridge carries more than 24 million vehicles a year, and it's showing the strain. The constant maintenance work is once again causing delays. So what are the kinds of problems that you're finding on this bridge now?
It's corrosion in the main cable is an issue for us, but the deck itself has suffered with the heavy goods vehicles that have been passing over it every year, and we need to replace joints and components of the deck, which unfortunately means carriageway closures. And it's seen as such a critical piece of infrastructure. It's probably worth about £2 billion to the Scottish economy each year. So if this is out of action, then the Scottish economy is severely hit.
The Scottish government's decided it can't keep patching and mending the old bridge, and so it's starting anew. Soon there'll be 3 bridges here: 19th century, 20th century, and 21st. The great news is that British bridge building's moved on since the 1950s, and the new crossing will be a cable-stayed design. where the load is spread across multiple cables rather than the two on the old suspension bridge.
The advantages of a cable-stayed bridge is it's stiffer. It's also easier to maintain because each of the individual cables that make the structure can be taken out and replaced while the bridge operates. I mean, when you imagine it's 3 kilometres from bank to bank, and the structure is this ribbon of 5 metres depth from one end to the other, of continuous geometry, absolutely beautiful.
In the last few months, the vast caissons have arrived, the big cylinders which they'll sink into the Forth to enable construction of the towers for the new bridge. They're the